Welcome to Andy's Garage. I'm Andy Phillips. Today I'm going to show you how to replace the fuel filter on a Chevy Trailblazer. Now this is the 5.3 liter V8. I don't know if the location of it changes with the V6 version, but any of the other vehicles using the GM 5.3 liter V8 would be the same. So let's go ahead and get started. This is all that you're going to need to complete this. A set of needle nose pliers, so that way you can go ahead and compress the little locking tabs so you can slide the fuel line off of the old fuel filter. You are going to need a flathead screwdriver, so that way you can release the pressure from the Schrader valve underneath the vehicle. Obviously, you're going to need your new fuel filter itself, and I'll put along the bottom where I got this one. They're very inexpensive, but I got this particular one online. And then last but not least, you are going to need some safety glasses, because when you're messing with fuel lines, you don't want anything spraying in your face. So this is everything that we need. Now the next thing that we need to do is we need to release the fuel out of the fuel lines. Now you can do it by using the Schrader valve on the actual fuel rail, but I'm going to go ahead and actually run the car, and then we're going to remove the fuel pump relay, so that way we get it out of the system itself instead of just the fuel rail. So let's go ahead and do that. Now to locate the fuel pump relay, we have our fuse box and relay box here. Go ahead and just pop this off, push this in, that'll come up. Then there's another clip here in the back, and it's actually marked by the little lock symbols on it. Let's pop that up. Now here on the underside of it, you have a diagram that lets you know which the relay and fuse for what. So we're going to go ahead and look here and locate the one for the actual fuel pump itself. Now if we check here, we'll see that number 41 says F/pump, which is fuel pump, so that's 41, which is this relay right here. So now we have this little cap here. We're going to take that off, pop that off, get that out of the way, and this right here is number 41. So this is the fuel pump relay right here. So I'm going to go ahead and start the car. We're going to let it run, then we're going to pop that out to kind of let the fuel pump kind of fade out, and then we'll try starting it a few times more just to clear everything out. Now once we get underneath to the fuel filter, there's a Schrader valve there as well, where we'll also be able to release some pressure right at that actual line. Okay, as you saw, we tried to start it again. All the fuel's out of the system there, out of the lines. Make sure you put this relay back before you wrap up this project. Otherwise, obviously, you're going to have a problem. So let's head underneath the vehicle. I'm going to show you the location of the fuel filter. And there's also a Schrader valve, as I mentioned, under there, where we'll also relieve any pressure that's down around that fuel filter before we take it off. Now, if you come on the driver's side, that's where you're going to find the fuel filter. It's actually located right around here near the back door on the driver's side. You want to make sure you get the vehicle up in the air, because you will need to get under there. I have it on a Rhino ramp. I also have a jack stand on the frame as well. You don't want to just be relying on the vehicle jack to be going underneath, so you want to make sure that you take whatever safety precautions you need. But let's head underneath and I'll show you where it is. Coming here along the side, we're here at kind of the line between the driver and the passenger door. And we come underneath here. Here's our running board. And if you slide just underneath, you can see right here, this is the gas tank going all the way back. It's located right here, right before it. So let's head in here and we'll take a look. So if we come here, we turn and look right up, there's our fuel filter right there. So there's the gas tank, there's the fuel filter. And then if we come back up, just to kind of give you a visual, there's the running board. And then we come right out here, and here's our vehicle. So that's it. Again, as you come in, find the gas tank, slide right in, and then as soon as you get in here, go ahead and look up, and there it is. Now looking up at it, I want to just show you what we're dealing with here. Here's the Schrader valve right here that we can release the pressure. And there it is right there. So we'll use a flathead screwdriver for that. We do have this strap that we need to undo, and then there's two lines See if I can get a better shot of it. There's two lines going into it right there, and that's what we'll be disconnecting. And here you can see a better view of it there. Here's the two lines going into it right here and right here. We'll unstrap it, pop it off, put the new one in. It's actually pretty simple. Now before we start, it's important to know that your fuel filter definitely needs to be replaced before you do it. You don't want to be replacing parts and just wasting money unless you know for sure. So it's important that you do a proper diagnostic kind of test of everything first. Some of the indications that your fuel filter may need to be replaced is if you have poor idling. Also, if your fuel pressure is below the required fuel pressure for your vehicle. Now keep in mind that some other things can also play factors in these as well. If your fuel pressure regulator is failing, it can also cause those as well. So you want to make sure you test that and replace that if needed. If you want to see how to diagnose a bad or failing fuel pressure regulator, you can do so via the link above. I'll also have it down in the description. Also, if you want to see how to replace it, I'll also have that link above as well and down in the description. A couple other things also, your fuel injectors. If you have fuel injectors that are maybe not functioning properly, maybe they're stuck open, that can also cause the pressure to be out of whack. So you want to make sure that you test those as well. Also the fuel pump. It can also be the fuel pump. So you want to make sure that you go ahead and diagnose everything properly before you start replacing stuff. If you want to see how to replace the fuel injectors, I have a video that I'll have the link across the top as well. Also down in the description if you want to click on that, where I go into detail as far as how to access them and replace them as well. So another thing also is if you have excessive smoke that's coming out of the back of the engine as well from your exhaust pipe, that can also be another indication that you're having problems with your fuel filter. Also a lean condition, random misfires, those are all things that go into that. So you want to make sure that you test it properly and pinpoint it before you start replacing that. All right, now that we're ready to go ahead and release the pressure from that Schrader valve right at the fuel filter, you want to make sure you have a few things. First of all, we're going to need some kind of a pan that we can catch any gas that might come down. You're going to need a flathead screwdriver, so that way we can go ahead and push in the Schrader valve. And you definitely want to be wearing safety glasses because you don't want any of that getting in your eyes. So let's go ahead. Get ready. Let's slide underneath, release the pressure. I went ahead and removed the little piece holding that cap, get that out of the way. And then if we show down here, there's our pan. So that way as this thing drips, it will go straight in the pan. So let's go ahead and get our flathead. And then we're going to go ahead and push that Schrader valve right there. Push it in to release any pressure. I was expecting more to spray out, but that was it. Just a little bit trickled out. Okay, so now that we've released the pressure, we need to remove these two lines from the old fuel filter. There's two little clips here on each side, the blue, and we're just going to take some needle nose pliers to press them in so we can slide the line off. Let me get a close-up of what I'm talking about. And you can see there the two, like the blue clips right there that I'm talking about. The line slides over, and you'll probably get some fuel that'll come out when we take those off as well, so keep the pan underneath. Okay, so we take the needle nose pliers, put them right over that clip right there, and if we squeeze it, let's see here, bring it right here, squeeze. You can see how it's compressed, and now we should be able to pull the line off. So if we do this, put it right there, and I'm going to use my other hand here so I can pull it off. Just pull it like this, and we can actually just bring it like that. There we go. And normally you want both hands, but I'm trying to hold the camera here, so it's making it a little bit tricky. So you can see it's starting to come off. Now when it pops off, you're going to get some gas coming down, so be ready for that. And if we look now, you can see here, so we should be able to just pull it by hand, and it will come off, as you can see. So I'm going to grab it here, push those clips in, because now that we have it pulled far enough out, we can get it. And it's starting to come off, as you can see here. You can see it coming off, so I'm going to gently slide it off. And be up. There we go. A little bit of gas coming out. So make sure you got the pan underneath. Make sure the pan is underneath. And pull it. There we go. Let it drip into the pan. We're going to let that one drip a little bit, and then we'll be back to do the second one. I went ahead and disconnected the second line. We're letting it drip out because there's still, as you can see here, still some gas in here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and remove the filter itself. Whoops. And you want to be careful because it's got gas in it. So just dump it out. Turn it upside down. Just let it drip out a little bit. There we go. All right, let's get the new one and put that in. And one thing you want to remember is what line goes on each side. The Schrader valve line goes on the right, so towards the front of the vehicle, and the other one is in the back. And I'll show you on the new filter, it has an in and out, so we got to match it up properly. Okay, so we have it out. I'm going to go ahead, we're going to put it up to the new one so I can show you. But you want to make sure, as we just saw with the in and out lines, you want to make sure that you match them up correctly when you reattach it. So let's head over to the new one, and I'll show you what we're looking at, and then we'll go ahead and put the new one in and wrap it up. So this is obviously the one that came off. This is the new one. Now the new one, as you can see, it clearly calls out right there on the side that that is the outline. So this is your fuel out, this is your fuel in, which was the case here. So the out is the indented one, the one that's on the edge is the in. So just make sure you line them up that way. Your out is the one that had the Schrader valve connected to it. So let's head underneath and put this in and we'll connect it. And it's very easy. If we look here, you can see the clips. This has the blue one, this has the white ones. You just slide it right over there and it'll clip right on and lock the fuel line onto it. Let's head underneath the vehicle, put this one up, and then start the vehicle and see how everything looks. Here's our fuel filter. So we want the out to be facing the driver's side. Put this up like that. So we're going to go ahead and just take the line, slide it right over like this, and we're going to go ahead and push it in until it clicks. There you go. Then we'll go ahead here on the inner line, which is our input line. I want to make sure that we have the clips angled just right. Push that in. Same thing. Okay, the lines are on. Make sure everything is good. Next thing you want to do is then go ahead and restrap it. Now this strap looks like it broke. Looks like it used to go like that and it broke off. So I'm not going to do it in the video, but I'm going to go ahead and put a new strap on it. So pull that off. And I'm going to go ahead and put a zip tie on it for now until we get the new strap on it. But everything there is nice and tight. That's how it goes on. So let me go ahead and strap it up and then we'll be back to start it. Okay, so you can see what I did. I just kind of zip tied it here to pretty much keep it secure. And then we're going to go ahead and put this Schrader valve cover back on. Want to screw that on. There we go. Everything is nice and tight. Make sure that the lines are on nice and sturdy. Okay, good. They are locked on. So we're going to start the vehicle and then we'll come underneath and check and make sure it's not leaking. Next, we're going to go ahead and put the relay switch back in. I'm going to go ahead and prime it a few times. Let it build the pressure back up. Okay, so we're underneath the car now with it running, and just inspecting, making sure there's no leaks and everything looks good. Next, you want to go ahead and put these caps back on it. Next, you want to put the cap on. Make sure you line it up properly. Here we go. Okay, well that pretty much wraps up this video on how to replace the fuel filter on a Chevy Trailblazer with the 5.3 liter V8. As mentioned at the beginning, that should be the same process with any of the other GM vehicles utilizing the 5.3 liter V8. So please send me any questions, any comments. I would love to hear from you. I hope this video helped you out with any projects you're working on. As always, I appreciate all the support. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel as I'm constantly posting new content. I'll see you next time.